Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler. I am the author of A Saga on Home Video, a fan's guide to US Star Wars home video releases, which you can find on Amazon, and which will have a second edition in full color with updated materials here at probably around the end of 2020. This is kind of an unusual episode in that this is the beginning of sort of a broken up series of episodes we're going to be doing here. We're going to have 8 of these total, all covering new releases from the wave of material that includes Rise of Skywalker's first home video release and the Skywalker Saga set. We're breaking this up so that we don't have one enormous episode and so that we can sort of focus in on specific products by specific regions. Okay? Our biggest focus, of course, is going to have to be on Rise of Skywalker. Well, I've got a few of those in my hands now, thanks to Disney Movie Club delivering early, but we don't yet, in our household, have the Disney Store lithograph set yet, nor do we have any of the store exclusives from Target, Walmart, or Best Buy. So for now, we're going to hold off on Rise of Skywalker until we can show all the US releases of that one at the same time. We'll also be taking a look in another episode at the Best Buy Skywalker Saga boxed set. That's 2 episodes, plus this one that we'll get to here in a moment. We're also going to be taking a look at the UK releases. So we're going to look at all the UK releases of Rise of Skywalker, and we're going to be taking a look at all 3 of the UK boxed sets for the Skywalker Saga. Those will be 2 separate episodes as well, so that accounts for 4 of them. From Japan, we're going to be taking a look at the most elaborate Rise of Skywalker release, which is their Steelbook, essentially, and their Skywalker Saga set. Again, separate episodes, bringing us up to a total of 6. While this is all being released, we also see in the US the 4K individual releases of episodes 1 through 7 and Rogue One for the first time. That's what we're covering in this episode. But that release, with similar packaging to what we saw in September through basically October, November of last year, that release in the US is not including Last Jedi or Solo in new packaging, because they were already released in 4K. Some regions are getting that, so to see that matching packaging and see how those releases shape up, we're going to be taking a look at Last Jedi and Solo's 4K matching style releases from this batch of new releases in another episode with those products coming from Australia. Okay, so 7 episodes plus this one. Again, this one, we're taking a look at those individual releases here. We are going to need a little bit of context before we start. And for those who are going to gripe, because people always do this when new people come and watch this show, who have never seen it before, who are expecting product reviews and that's it, that's not what this show is. This is an educational series about Star Wars home video that provides context, the history of it, the development of it, very much like A Saga on Home Video does as a narrative history of Star Wars home video releases in the US with side trips to other regions. So we are going to provide some context here before we look at the actual products. And I guess I should also note here, before we move on, I do have a Patreon for those of you who are new to the show. A lot of folks have been saying, how on earth are you buying all of these things to show on the show for this new release? There's 32 things you're going to be showing on the show. That's careful budgeting, teaching a lot of extra students and basically just overloading myself with work and making sure that the money is there well in advance. Part of doing that and part of helping out with that, if you feel the urge, is the ability to jump on Patreon at patreon.com/NathanPButler. Jump into that with the $1, $5, or $10 tier. $5 and $10 tiers give you some exclusive goodies that you can only get there from me, whether it's audio commentaries for things like Clone Wars or an exclusive Q&A video that you can participate in every month. Basically, that's one way to defer some of the costs of what we're looking at here, though certainly not anywhere near the cost in an entire year of Patreon to cover all the stuff for just this batch of releases in this span of 2 months. But I was told I should mention it, because I generally don't on the show, and we might have new viewers, so there, I've mentioned it, now we can move on. Alright, for context here, remember that in September of 2019, the US saw a blitz of 20 new Star Wars home video releases. 10 of those were DVD-only releases of all the films except Rise of Skywalker in new matching packaging. So this packaging right here, this is Phantom Menace as an example. You may recall that these had new disc labels. This has been used, but feel free to try. We have new disc labels here, DVD, all the different information we looked at the time, with the logo down here at the bottom. The copyright date on the disc, by the way, is 2019, which makes sense. Okay? But this was the 2011 cut of the film. It was a disc we had seen before since 2013 on DVD, simply being given a new label and slapped into new individualized packaging. At the same time, the other 10 were so-called multi-screen editions from Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment here that were Blu-ray and digital code copies. It was the Blu-ray film disc for each film, no bonus disc, but a digital code that unlocked the current digital copy, which included the bonus features that weren't included on a disc at all. For episodes 1 through 6, again, just like with the DVDs, it was just the same disc we had seen before, in this case since 2011, being given a new label, and they looked like the labels basically of the DVDs, though we'll take a look at one of them here. For Rogue One, Solo, Last Jedi, and Force Awakens, the ones released during Disney's tenure, it was just a repackage of previously existing discs, right? So for the DVDs, just the regular DVD releases that we had seen, the only one that existed for each, for Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi, Solo. For these, for the multi-screen editions, it's important to note here, though, that for The Force Awakens, which had 2 different Blu-ray releases in the span of its launch year, this is the disc from the original launch, which means no J.J. Abrams audio commentary. We talked about why these were a big deal at the time. Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment, first time with digital copies included for some of these films, blah, blah, blah. You can see that if you go back and look at that September 2019 episode here of the show. Okay? But again, similar packaging, noted as multi-screen edition like the other recent releases since Last Jedi. And inside, aside from having that digital code, we found that the disc label was essentially like those DVDs, just with Blu-ray, again, 2019 copyright date, logo at the bottom. That was September 2019. October 2019, a couple weeks later, brought us the fact that Walmart had exclusive versions of all the Skywalker Saga films, 1 through 8. Obviously, Rise of Skywalker wasn't out yet. It did not include Rogue One or Solo. They had those special little lithograph-type postcard-sized concept art cards included in each one. Again, in October, we saw the original trilogy films come out that way. Then in November, we saw the other Skywalker Saga films released that way, all notable by that sticker there that'll tell you it has the lithograph inside. We talked about how ridiculous Walmart's distribution process was and how much of a pain in the ass it was to get any of these back when we talked about those in their own episodes. They did become a little bit easier to come by after Christmas 2019, but still not as easy as they should have been. But again, what were you getting if you bought any of those in September 2019 or the subsequent Walmart exclusives in October or November of 2019? Well, for the Disney releases, it was just the same discs we'd seen before, right? Just with the same labels and everything. But they were just the film discs, no bonus discs for the Blu-ray release. But at least you got a digital copy with it. For 1 through 6, these were the exact same discs we had seen since the 2011 Complete Saga release when it comes to things like stupid rocks in front of R2-D2, Vader now saying no twice at the end of Return of the Jedi, that sort of thing. Well, we know of as the Blu-ray cuts, even though they've appeared elsewhere other than Blu-ray, right? So we just call them the 2011 cuts. So they originally appeared here in 2011. You could also have gotten them in 2015 as part of this reissue that just repackaged the same discs with those same labels. In 2017, you could have gotten those through the Walmart Holiday exclusive version that's just a repackage of this one with another slipcover over the top of it, so that there are 2 slipcovers, which is a little bit weird, called the 6-movie collection. And no, there was no DVD version of these, particularly no DVD version of this, even though there is a bootleg version. Yes, I got my hands on it so I could debunk it with pictures in the book, not just the debunking I did on a special episode of this series. This is not legit. There is no DVD equivalent of a Complete Saga Blu-ray set. It does not exist officially, period. Try to pick up something like that. Bootleg. Talked about that before. Those same 2011 Blu-ray cuts were available on the 2011 prequel trilogy set. Its reissue that added a DVD copy of that cut for the first time in 2013, or the reissue of that combo pack in 2017. And the same thing with the original trilogy in 2011, the original trilogy with now a DVD copy as well in 2013, and then a repackage of that in 2017. And yes, these were the same copies you can also have gotten in steelbook form individually in 2015. Yes, mine are in protective cases right now. These that you've seen before. Same 2011 cuts. And in 2015, the same year as the Steelbooks and as that first reissue of the complete saga set, we also saw the digital release of those Star Wars films. And that digital release included some new bonus features like conversations and discoveries from inside that sort of rounded things out, along with some legacy content and some bonus features that had appeared elsewhere, mostly on recent releases, one of which goes all the way back to the Definitive Collection Laserdisc set in 1993. But the first time we ever got that actually packaged as a digital copy with the physical release were those ones in September 2019. I know it's a lot of information here to keep straight. It's going to matter as we go along here. We, of course, then in 2019 had the Disney Plus cuts, right? The 2019 cuts of the films, where the films had been rescanned during the process of changing them to 3D, which never actually reached completion. But they were rescanned, recomposited, a new digital master, and we got the 4K Disney Plus versions, best known probably for Greedo's little McClunky line added to A New Hope. The fact that they fixed the colors finally, they redid the explosion of the generator in The Empire Strikes Back, just little things like that to make it a better experience and crisper for those who were watching in 4K. But there wasn't a 4K release of that in September 2019, so it's like a last gasp of this old stuff from 2011, and then ta-da, here's the digital version of the new stuff. And then, over the span of about a month, in late 2019, after Disney Plus launched those 4K versions for streaming, you had a replacement, slowly but surely, of all the digital copies online that had been the 2015 release, with new files for the 2019 release. So, as of right now, officially, and I'm recording this on March 27th of 2020, as of right now, officially, the products that are out there that are physical are the 2011 cuts. The product that is out there for digital sale or to redeem with a digital code is the 2019 cut, as is the one on Disney Plus. But in just a few days, on March 31st, we will see the release of these films in 4K on physical media for the first time. I was lucky mine came in early from Disney Movie Club, hence being able to show you that here. The question is, what's on it? What's included? What are the bonus features? Are they worth it? Is there any reason to even pick them up if you're getting that Skywalker Saga set? That's why we want to look at all 8 of those in this episode. All right, all that important context out of the way. We launch into these 4K releases, these Ultra HD Blu-ray releases, with The Phantom Menace. Okay, so we have our 4K Ultra HD, 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray digital code, Star Wars The Phantom Menace, same image we saw on those releases back in September in the US. It does say Ultimate Collector's Edition because that's what they call any of their 4K releases, although they are not Ultimate, nor are they Collector's Editions in any way. Notice though, you can sort of see this in the light, unlike the ones in September 2019 that look like this for DVD only and the Blu-ray/digital multi-screen edition, this is embossed. It was not embossed on those. Small difference, but a nice difference. Then we have Ultra HD Blu-ray, Star Wars The Phantom Menace. Down here is your product number and Lucasfilm. Same thing on the other side. The back is similar to what we saw back then, except of course updated for 4K. So digital code included. Watch anywhere with the Movies Anywhere app. Download or stream Movies Anywhere. See the first fateful steps in the journey of Anakin Skywalker. We've talked about what these say before. You have your text about the film. You have a box here talking about what's on the 4K copy and the Blu-ray copy. Information about your language options and whatnot. Lots of legalese, your rating. Info down there at the bottom. Now what it says on there in those little 4K and Blu-ray boxes here, the Blu-ray box says Movie Plus bonus extras, and then it gives a rundown of some of the bonus features that you'll find on any of these, with an "and much more" at the end of it. So there's more than what it actually lists. If you look at the part that says 4K Ultra HD, it says movie only, which is true. Bear in mind, on the film discs in 4K, for any of these, they don't even have the audio commentaries. The audio commentaries are there, but they're on the Blu-ray copy, not the 4K copy. Then it says, with Ultra Play, jump instantly to the movie, optimized for 4K UHD. What does Ultra Play mean? It means you stick in the film, you choose your language, as you do on any of these recent releases, and once you've chosen your language, it's going to give you the option to either play a movie, go straight into it, or go to the menus. The menus are going to be like your language settings and your scene selection, essentially. No bonus features on the film disc for 4K at all. It notes then 4K resolution, high dynamic range HDR, wider color spectrum, and immersive audio with Dolby Atmos. For the complete 4K experience, you'll need 4K Ultra HD TV with high dynamic range, Ultra HD Blu-ray player. Okay, great. So we have this. Inside the slipcover is essentially the same setup to the packaging, for the most part here. Okay, slightly rearranged there on the back just to make room for everything. You have a digital code for a digital copy of the film, which does redeem for 4K. So even if you've redeemed a Blu-ray copy before, perhaps from September 2019, go ahead and redeem it. You'll get new Disney Movie Reward points. You'll wind up getting the 4K copy of the film for streaming as well. It does have Disney Movie Insider points, as mentioned there. Now, as far as discs go, you could be forgiven for being disappointed when you first see the Blu-ray disc of this set. So we'll start with Blu-ray, then look at 4K. This is the Blu-ray film disc. You might be thinking, son of a... It's that same scene, Blu-ray and all the indicators and everything. Yeah, that's the one we got in September 2019. This must be the 2011 cut on this. No. Subtle differences. Copyright of 2020. Logo moved up to the top. Scene slightly shifted. You can tell these apart that way. This disc is the 2019 McClunky edition, originally found on Disney Plus in HD rather than 4K on Blu-ray. A newly authored Blu-ray. We've never seen that cut on Blu-ray before. Okay? So look for the ones with this up at the top if you're buying these secondhand at some point. Otherwise, it's all pretty much the same, right? Blu-ray symbol, Lucasfilm, feature film, runtime, rating, Dolby Digital, region ABC, legalese around the edge, different product number and copyright date of 2020. Star Wars The Phantom Menace up at the top. Technical information, technical service stuff down there at the bottom. So it looks similar. It is not the same. The 4K disc is brand new. Again, it is just the film, no commentary. The Blu-ray has both commentaries that the Blu-ray cuts had since 2011, right? The one from the DVD plus the archival audio one. So you still have those commentaries, but they're only on the Blu-ray disc. Then you've got your 4K disc. Star Wars The Phantom Menace, we got Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan there. Runtime, Lucasfilm, feature film, 4K Ultra HD, tech spec info here, right, for technical assistance, blah, blah, blah. Rating, Dolby Atmos, Dolby Digital, Ultra HD Blu-ray, all regions symbol, legalese and copyright and stuff around the edge here. Beautiful copy of the film. It's the best they've ever looked. But bear in mind that it is just the film, no bonus features whatsoever, not even commentaries. If you want bonus features, you're going to need this disc. So we have our hangar there. They're filming the Starfighter. Okay, so Phantom Menace, legalese, Blu-ray bonus, Dolby Digital, all region, Lucasfilm, for technical assistance, blah, blah, blah. And a black and white / grayscale image there. Now, as far as what's on there, it's kind of good news, bad news. Good news is it's a lot of bonus features specifically for the Phantom Menace. Awesome. Bad news is not a single one of them is new. None of it is new. They are repackaged from other releases. Primarily stuff you would have seen on the digital release ever since 2015. What's different about this is that some of the stuff that was digital only, like those conversations videos or the discoveries from inside videos that previously were digital only for either redeemed digital copies, individual digital copies, all the way back to 2015, those featurettes have never been before on physical discs. Now they are. So you get Conversations, Doug Chang Looks Back, or Discoveries from Inside, Models and Miniatures, George Lucas on the Digital Revolution. And there's a section, just like on the digital copies, called Legacy Content, which in this case has the beginning, the pod race, theatrical edit, archive fly-through, interviews, deleted and extended scenes, and the collection, which is like an image gallery type of thing. It's interesting to me and kind of ironic to me the fact that they still break it up into, here's Conversations and some other stuff, and here's the Legacy Content, because that's the old stuff. Like it was in 2015 when they launched this stuff digitally, because at this point in 2020, all of it's legacy stuff. Not a single new thing whatsoever bonus feature-wise. It's nice to have them all in one place. It's nice to have Conversations, Discoveries from Inside, and a few other things on all of these in physical form for the first time. But no, if you're picking these up, you're not getting anything new for your money aside from the 4K version of the film, the 2019 cut in 4K, and the 2019 cut now on Blu-ray. It's basically taking a higher resolution cut and putting it on a lower resolution media, just like we saw in 2013, where they took the 2011 high definition Blu-ray cut and made a version of that available on standard definition DVD. Now this pattern will continue. We have Attack of the Clones, again, September 2019, packaging from the US, translated into the Ultimate Collector's Edition mode with Ultra HD stuff and whatnot, but otherwise very similar. Embossed now. Similar design to the spines and to the back. Not a lot of new info or anything like that. Inside, same old case. Digital copy code. The important things here, of course, being what are the labels going to look like for these so you can recognize the discs. We have the 4K disc laid out very much like the Phantom Menace, but there's Yoda kind of pulling in the Force lightning that he just managed to absorb there for Attack of the Clones. We have a label similar to September 2019, except again, the title has been moved up to the top from above the technical assistance thing to now up at the top, and they've shifted the art just a little bit. And your bonus features disc. Again, nothing new. This is Conversations, Sound in Space, Discoveries from Inside, Costumes Revealed, and the Art of Attack of the Clones, all of which were digital since 2015. Then your legacy content is From Puppets to Pixels, State of the Art, Films Are Not Released, They Escape, the Visual Effects Breakdown Montage from SIGGRAPH, Interviews, Deleted and Extended Scenes, and The Collection again. On all of these, there's also an info button, but it's basically just like your copyright and disc information. Revenge of the Sith is done in the same way. I'd be editing this and be like, why is there no sounds? Because I'm not saying anything. What is there to say about saying the same stuff over and over again? 4K, Anakin there on Mustafar. Blu-ray, again, lifted up the title. And bonus features right here. Bonus features include Conversations, the Star Wars That Almost Was, Discoveries from Inside, Hologram, and Bloopers. And the legacy content includes Within a Minute, The Journey Part 1 and The Journey Part 2, the SIGGRAPH Reel, Star Warriors, a documentary that you would have found on the Complete Saga set, which is interesting, interviews, deleted and extended scenes, The Collection, and Star Wars Tech. Yes, that's the documentary that was on the Complete Saga set, but also that had its own DVD release that was exclusive to StarWarsShop.com back in 2007-2008. So kind of weird in that we've taken those two things that aren't really specific to Revenge of the Sith at all and slapped those on there to just have them somewhere. It's a nice touch, I guess. Then we pick up with the original trilogy with A New Hope here. Okay. Again, very similar. No real surprises or shocks. Digital code, of course. And there's your 4K disc. Then you've got your Blu-ray disc. Again, just switching the placement of the logo there, or the title, along with the copyright being updated and the product number being updated. Then you got your bonus features disc. The bonus features this time include Conversations, Creating a Universe, Discoveries from Inside, Weapons, and the First Lightsaber, and the legacy content, Anatomy of a Dewback, the Star Wars launch trailer, the archive fly-through, interviews, extended and deleted scenes, and the collection. That continues with The Empire Strikes Back. Whoa. Flipping it around. Super fast, showing stuff we kind of already can assume is there. Ooh. You got your code, but then you've got your 4K disc there. AT-ATs or AT-ATs. Blu-ray copy, moving the title up. And you've got your bonus features disc, which includes Conversations, The Lost Interviews, Discoveries from Inside, Matte Paintings Unveiled, and the legacy content, A Conversation with the Masters, which is pretty awesome. How Walkers Walk, that's the one that goes all the way back to the Definitive Collection in 1993, with Dennis Muren, interviews, deleted and extended scenes, and the collection. Then to round out the original trilogy, Return of the Jedi. All designed as expected. And disc-wise, I already took him out for this one. You got your code slip. And then you've got Han about to be cooked for the 4K disc. You got your 2019 stuff, just with the logo moved again for the Blu-ray film disc. And then you've got your Blu-ray bonus disc. In this case, what you've got here is Conversations, the effects, Discoveries from Inside, the sounds of Ben Burtt, and legacy content that includes Classic Creatures Return of the Jedi, which is cool, the whole documentary, which you could find also on the complete saga set and some of its own releases. The Revenge of the Jedi trailer, the Return of the Jedi launch trailer, the It Began TV spot, the Climactic Chapter TV spot, interviews, deleted and extended scenes, and the collection. So, kind of cool that this one includes the documentary that was sort of created to go along with Return of the Jedi. A little weird, though, that if they're going to include that, they didn't include Making of Star Wars with A New Hope or SPFX The Empire Strikes Back with Empire. But at least that one's there. Though really, for the love of all that is holy, would it have killed them to make it instead of Classic Creatures that we've already got on Blu-ray from 2011, 2015, and 2017, to have maybe made it From Star Wars to Jedi, the making of a saga that hasn't seen release in ages? Come on, guys! And then we move into the Disney films that had never gotten a 4K release before. Again, the ones that had, Solo and Last Jedi, did not get a US reissue for this batch of products in 4K. It's only the ones that had never seen 4K release before. Although, we will find Last Jedi with 4K included in the Skywalker Saga set, of course. Just not Solo. We have The Force Awakens, again designed like the 2019 reissue, as anyone in their right mind would have suspected, right? Question is, what discs are in this? You got your digital code, of course, but what discs are actually in here? Well, you've got your new one, which is the 4K disc, right, with BB-8 there. So that's a 4K copy of the film. Again, no bonus features or anything like that. Question is, which of the discs are we going to get for the bonus features or for the film? Because again, there were two. The first release, remember, had basically just the film with no bonus features, had a label with the Millennium Falcon on it. That's what was reissued on Blu-ray back in September. Okay, the bonus features disc, which was not released back in September because it was a single disc release, but that bonus disc from the original release that has been reissued a few times since then was bonus features that were missing a few because some of them were Target exclusives at the time for digital release only. Then when the 3D Collector's Edition came out, remember this thing? Later in the year, we got an updated film disc with a J.J. Abrams commentary, and we got some more bonus features, some more deleted scenes and whatnot, plus those Target bonus features and whatnot, all added into a newly authored bonus disc that included all the stuff from that first release, plus more. So which of these would we get? Hallelujah! It's actually the updated ones. So it's the X-Wing version here, art-wise, of the film disc. Yes, you've got the J.J. Abrams commentary. And then for the bonus disc, yes, it's the updated version as well from later in 2016. You got all those extra bonus features. Very nice. A way to get these now with the 4K disc, kind of like you could have gotten them back in late 2016 with a 3D Blu-ray disc to go with these two discs as well. And I would note here that all of episodes 1 through 6 have a new menu that is similar to what we saw with some of the more recent films in terms of style. In this case, of course, those two discs that we've seen before wouldn't have changed, but the menu is different and looks like the other ones for the 4K disc. And then finally, the 8th of these, the last, Rogue One. Now, Rogue One has only ever had one Blu-ray and one Blu-ray bonus disc version out there, albeit repackaged from time to time. So our new thing is our 4K disc. And our other two discs, surprise, 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 are the ones we've seen before. No changes to them at all. The menu, by the way, on Rogue One looks very much like the menu on the previously existing discs for Rogue One. So it does not really match what we see with the Skywalker Saga menus for 4K. Now, for many fans, this may be the only one of these they buy individually, because all of those other ones are found in the Skywalker Saga boxed set that's coming through Best Buy. But this is not part of the Skywalker Saga, so this is one you would need to have separately, along with Solo. But it's a lot of stuff. That's 8 releases out of quite a few coming from the US. We'll be looking at quite a few overall as we go and look at the UK and Japan also. Hopefully pretty soon they'll start putting up the listings for South Korea because that's another place I tend to pick them up from. But so far, no releases for South Korea listed yet, probably due to what's going on with coronavirus, COVID-19, and all of that. So, in this time of craziness in the world around us, Star Wars releases seem to be continuing apace, at least in the United States. Thankfully, some of these arrived early so I could show you these prior to launch date. There may be some episodes after this that deal with some other products aside from this big wave of products coming in. Depends on what I get a chance to record and get edited between now and when I actually have all the US copies to be able to show you. But bear in mind, again, this is the first of 8 episodes where we're looking at stuff from this Rise of Skywalker, Skywalker Saga, put everything else out in 4K wave here happening in March/April of 2020. I hope this has been useful to you. I hope the context helps you pin down what exactly it is that you're getting or not getting, as the case may be with these discs, and will help us save some time when talking about these products again, when talking about the Skywalker Saga, so we can just say, hey, see this episode for the specifics, and we can focus that episode on the goodies of the box set itself. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers. Including, by the way, as a shout-out, Robert Myers out there in California, who very recently wrote me a physical letter, which is pretty cool. So, thanks, Robert. May the Force be with you, too.